Ever since I made this channel, you guys keep asking me the same question. How do you make your Sims? Well, the wait is over and the video is now here, so pay attention or else. To start this video off, I'll do a rundown of how I usually make my Sims. Firstly, I get a reference photo. Once I have that, I'll start modifying their features accordingly. The reference photo is mainly for inspiration. I never really try to recreate the person's face 100%. But next, I'll add a skin overlay, and sometimes I'll use a skin, but 99% of the time, it's a skin overlay. Then I keep on modifying the Sims features to the way I like, and then it's time for details like freckles, or face highlight, or nose overlays, stuff like that. And then I go onto makeup and hair soon after. And to end the process, I go on Pinterest for outfit inspo and try to recreate it on my Sim. The first tip I have for you guys is to utilize every create a sim category you can. I vividly remember when I first got the Sims and I wanted to make Sims like my favorite YouTubers. So I would go and create a sim, put on some hair, a shirt, some pants, maybe a skin detail, and that's it. 10 out of 10. Legendary work, I know.
I don't think so.
But you can see just how basic and bland this sim looks. But nowadays, I've realized that I should add as many details as I can in all of the different categories the game provides for me, like face paint, tattoos, and so much more. And also, if you want to create more unique and diverse Sims, I recommend downloading different presets, like nose, eyes, and ears presets, just to have something different in your game that allows you to experiment more with your Sims. And let's not lie, the default presets be getting real boring real quick.
She's got a point.
And while you're downloading presets, make sure you get some sliders as well, because the default sliders can feel so limiting at times, like girl let me be free. I will have a list of all my sliders and presets linked below, so make sure you check that out. Now, before I get into my essential create a sim items, I just want to say, there is no right or wrong way to make a sim. We all have different styles and different preferences. But I do believe that sometimes there are things you can add to a sim to make it better. And by things, I mainly mean adding details. Now here are my essential create a sim items that I use on pretty much every sim to make them pop. Number 1 is face highlight. This one by Vive is so good, and I mainly use it on my male Sims. But trust me, it looks good on anyone. And I also use a lot of face highlights by Alina Lina, which I will of course have linked below. Face highlight is the first thing I recommend adding to your Sims so they look less bland and flat. Another thing I will recommend, which is in the same category, is blush. I've only started adding blush to my Sims recently. I can't explain it, but blush is just so pretty. I have tons by Gotballs Me, Obscurus, and Sims 3 Melancholic. Having a lot of options is important because sometimes you might only want blush on the nose, but sometimes you also might want it only on the cheekbones. And sometimes I don't need to add blush to my Sims because I have these amazing skin tones by Miss Blue. You can see the difference here, how their skin tones add some natural blush to the Sim, which I think makes a huge difference, and I use these skin tones a lot. Another create a Sim essential is definitely eyelid overlays. Back in the day, I never used to notice this, but eyelids really affects the way a Sim looks. And sometimes I'll put a skin overlay on a Sim, but the eyelids be a bit funky, so I mainly use these eyelids by Northern Siberian Winds, and you can see the huge difference they make. So you need to go download these right now because they are a game changer. And while we're on the topic of Northern Siberian Winds, I just want to say that I use their CC all the time, and they just might be my favorite CC creator. Like almost all of my Sims have their skin overlay, so these skins right here are definitely on my list of essential create a sim items, especially if you make Maxis match Sims. Some more create a sim essentials are eyelashes and lip liner. Eyelashes are just pretty. They don't need an explanation, and I just recently started using lip liner on my Sims, and I have been very satisfied to say the least. And the last create a sim essential I will recommend to you guys is this default eyelash remover by Kijiko. I personally hate the default eyelashes, and if you hate them like me, then go download this CC. You won't regret it. And that's basically how I make my Sims and all of my create a sim essentials. If you have any questions, comment them below. And don't forget to subscribe and check out the rest of the videos on my channel.